I'm here to help make a breed healthier. And I think that's what you need to put on the board for every one of your meetings. What is your top goal? A healthier cat breed. That's right. And that's your goal. And every time you start arguing of whether you should reweigh the standard or not, go back and remember this part, right?
From a practical standpoint, can you breed a carrier to a non-carrier and end up with at least, you know, if there's, say, I don't know, 4 kittens in a litter?
You will not get anything.
Do you get, no, it's not my question. If you breed a carrier to a non-carrier, can you get, what are the chances you can get a kitten that's a non-carrier?
50%, non-carrier to carrier, 50-50, because the carrier has 1 copy and 1 not copy, so it's going to be 50-50. But you won't know now who's going to be the carriers and the non-carriers unless you test. Right.
Now, what about if you have 1 copy or 2 copies? What about no copies?
You're clear. You never have to test again.
So you could still get, if your non-carrier has 0 copies and you breed it to a carrier.
Back to 50% again.
Yeah, but could part of that 50% be zeros?
Yes.
Yes.
Part of it would be zeros.
So
50% would be zeros.
are we really looking for zeros or are we looking for 1 copy?
Well, I think first we should survey and see what's out there and what we need to do. I think we should survey out of the non-carriers, 0 copies. What do those cats look like? All right. Maybe you don't want to. Maybe you hate all those cats. You know. Then we have to slowly try to move in the right direction. So I think we just need to do a survey. We got to get everybody take a deep breath. Get used to this. Now there's people that have never done DNA testing. We got to get them on board. We got to catch our breath and regroup before we start saying eliminate, 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 because I'm afraid if we start going on witch hunts and eliminating, you're going to be in worse diversity shape than you are now, all right? So we got to work towards working together. Would I like to see this mutation go away at some point in time? Well, of course. But, you know, maybe you can get, but, you know, Korots didn't do that for a while. That didn't happen overnight. Persians still have polycystic kidney disease, and that test has been out there 8 years now. But it's definitely going down and down and down, right?
From the genetic diversity point of view, for some people, I know many people here know an awful lot about genetics, but for those who don't, if you breed 2 carriers together, you will still get, on average, 1 kitten in 4 who is clear.
Correct.
So, rather than, you know, even if the goal should be to eliminate the gene altogether, as opposed to just plain cutting all the carriers off, an alternative would be to test and find that 1 kitten in 4 who is not a carrier.
Well, yeah, that's the eventual goal, but for a long time, you could breed carrier to non-carrier and never be producing head defect kittens, while still maintaining carriers in your population so that you don't wipe out all those cats. It's going to be a long-term goal. I'm thinking if Persians have been at 8 years now, so it's not going to be feasible even in 10 years to get rid of PKD. I'm thinking probably it's going to be the 15 to 20 year program to remove this from the Burmese breeding populations. So
The more cooperation we get, the faster we get.
the more cooperation you get, the more outcrossing you can do, weighing all those factors, the faster you could potentially do it. Yep.
How long did it take with Korots, and what has it done to them in terms of their quantity of cats they have left?
Yeah, you know, Anne would be better to ask that, and she's left. But I think it's there. It's gone now. I think the tests might have come out in 86, 88, something like that, 92, somewhere along there.
I think early
early 90s, maybe 92 or so, and now they're clear. So it's been 20 years. They're clear, and they have a breed with good genetic variation and low inbreeding. But they were also bringing in cats from Thailand. Not like 20 of them, 2 or 3, you know. And but 2 or 3 in a small population like that is a big influence. But the biggest thing I think they did was use cats from Europe and make sure those imports got used. I think that's the biggest thing that's really helped them is the cooperation within the breed. Yeah. So they had cooperation within the breed, and that's yeah. Yikes.
Les, I think it's important to note that you establish interim goals. So for the Karats, their first goal was let's not produce another affected cat.
Right.
And then over time, can we get rid of the mutation?
Yeah.
So, you know, your long-term goal might be to reduce or eliminate the mutation.
But we've got parallel projects.
But yeah, absolutely. But right now, today, you can start never producing another affected kitten.
Right.
Right.
Do we want to do that right now, or do we want to take you know, of course, as someone very concerned about animal health, I want to say let's do that right now. But also knowing what's feasible, I would very much like to see a survey over the coming year, and then next year saying, okay, so that you guys now know, because you're caught off surprise right now. Right? You have your breeding cats and you're caught by surprise, right? So now you know it's here. Let's say by the next breeding season, which will do Burmese breed all year, or do they? Yeah. Okay. Let's pick a date, okay? Right. So let's pick a date. I don't know. What's a cool date? Valentine's Day next year, you know? Valentine's Day next year, we stop carrier to carrier breeding. I'm throwing an idea out there. Those are the type of things you should. My birthday next year, I turn 50, you guys stop breeding carrier to carrier. How about that? No, March 22nd. So, or March 29th, the anniversary of Burmese. March 29th next year.
Spaghetti to celebrate.
Yeah, the spaghetti, yeah. Spaghetti and pizza to celebrate, right? So, but you guys have to kind of blog about this a little bit. If that feasible, what's that going to do to people's breeding programs? You won't know until you do your survey of who do you have that's...
So when we bombard you with all these samples,
Service Lab can handle it. They do hundreds of thousands of horses every year. So you're not slowing them down. You're not slowing them down.
what about the pig people though?
Yeah, the pig people, they're going to be mad.
No, I'm sorry, they're not.
They're going to be mad, you know.
What are the top questions of this? What are we looking for in this?
Okay, so number one, I would love to see a comprehensive list of who we are. First, we got to know who we are.
Humans or cats?
Humans. Who are the breeders? We need a contact list, right? We need a contact list so everybody's on the blog, everybody's on the email. Not everybody could be here today. How do we keep everybody engaged in the conversation, right?
Including the ones in
Timbuktu, yeah,
Belarus.
right. Don't we have someone from Russia here?
Yeah.
Yes, there you go. Yes, yeah, I met them earlier. Yeah, so.
Also, I, for instance, know a
And
lady who
friends.
advertises
And friends,
on the
yeah.
internet that she sells applehead Siamese and traditional
Mm-hmm.
Burmese.
Right,
She doesn't show, she doesn't have any contact with any of us.
Right.
I don't know where she got her original cat.
okay, so she has some good random bred cats out there, right? You guys have to decide, are all those cats on the list feasible? I know there's been some arguments about Singapore's. They need help too, So you guys have to, and I guess you have to go through your vetting of it and getting permission and changing. Then they don't, okay,
Talk
then.
with one, and
Okay,
So I'm staring you back. Who are we?
who you are.
Who are we? Then what?
Who do you want to outcross with? Who are we comes down to who are the other people too that are going to play with you, all right? So who are the breeds you're going to outcross with and maybe be part of your team? right? Who are your breeding cats? Who are the breeding cats? Let's start prioritizing who gets tested. And then we have to sit down and think, how can we come up with feasible pricing on tests? What tests do we need to do? And that whole shebang there. And I have to try to work together with the veterinary genetics lab. That will be the only lab that can do this for at least the next year. After that, it might change, but.
So when we make contributions to WIN, can we designate it for a specific, like you can for FIP research?
I think you can still do those stipulated things, can't you? Or?
Well, we just did it for Susan Cook's mother died, and so they asked for donations for FIP. So
There isn't an open and active Burmese fund at WIN right now because we gave all the money to her.
let's start a new one. But wait. There's two funding streams. One is to help subsidize the testing, and one is to pay her for more genetic research. Right? Two different
Well,
funding.
yeah, so we would have to think about FOP, that's the facial oral pain thing, all right?
Flat-chested kittens.
Flat-chested kittens, that's a research aspect. Not HCM, that's nothing that's going to be solved tomorrow, all right? But then there's also, how do we pay for this testing? How much is it going to be? What we can do? That type of thing as well. Yep. Yeah, Art?
You can send money directly to UC Davis and designate it to Leslie Lyons' lab for Burmese testing, correct?
Or you could just write her a check on it.
Yeah, I take cash, check, Visa, and PayPal. Well, yeah, you can donate directly to the Center for Companion Animal Health and then designate it for Burmese genetic research. But if you put it into WIN Foundation and we then write a grant for it, it's a bit slower of a process because WIN has 2 grant calls, so we have to write for that and then get awarded and stuff like that. But then UC Davis matches with $7,500, right? So you should think about both mechanisms, really.
Your money is magnified.
Your money's magnified by going through WIN. But it is a slower process, you know, and you'd have to probably get $7,500 worth of money in there so that we will match the $7,500. Well, we would only match what's in there for Davis. Yeah.
Okay, going back to what was mentioned a minute ago, WIN is research money, right? So if any subsidy for testing, would that would go through a source other than WIN, or could that go through?
No, that could go through WIN if we sell this maybe as a breed management plan, right? So I could write a project for a breed management plan, but the thing is that money would probably go to the service laboratory and not into my laboratory to help subsidize the test. So that's kind of like not a big win situation for me as a researcher because it's going to go to another pile of somebody else. But I could still write the project and say, send it here, but it's not directly going to help my research program. So it could be done through WIN, or it could be done through, you know, it could be done with the Breed Council. The Breed Council collects up enough money, writes a contract with the veterinary genetics lab, and says, here's our money to help subsidize this.